dance party.
I know, right? Exactly. Welcome to the truth behind the truth.
We up in here.
We up in here. Yes, indeed. We have looked forward to. We always look forward when we can be together.
Right.
We can be together.
Right.
Yes, indeed. And one. Not going through the screen. You know? Right, exactly. You got
And we're giving you sweater weather.
Exactly. Guys, thanks so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. We are so excited, as you can tell, because we're the family together, It makes such great opportunities for us to be together. We're working on making it permanent, okay? Y'all keep watching because it's going to happen. Like I tell you all the time, we move into, First level. We in the studio tonight, guys.
That's right.
Hey, keep telling me, keep watching, keep supporting. And guess what? Sending that money. Okay.
Cash like, shares, and comments. Like, shares, and comments.
Like, shares, and comments. Absolutely. Please. I know that's right. But yeah, we are really, really, really excited about tonight. As you can see, that we are making progressive steps to bring you and to become the #1 talk show in America. That is our goal. Hey, somebody got to step aside, Dr. Phil. Somebody got to move because the truth and truth got to come through. We have to definitely come through. Fellas, how are you?
I am great.
Good. Harold, it is so great to see you back in California.
It's so good to be in California. The weather is nice, and it's really nice to be here.
Yes,
sweater weather.
Right.
It's sweater weather. So, how was North Carolina and all that good stuff in I know we talk about it week by week, but I'm sort of changes throughout the week. So, how was North Carolina before you left?
North Carolina was beautiful. It was nice. It wasn't as warm as it is here in California, but it's nice. It's not raining, so that's a good thing.
Good. Yeah. Good. Did you get snow? I know we talked about part of the previous show.
Now and again.
Okay, all right. Darn. I like that snow, but we go up to the mountains, so that's one good thing, about that. Well, we're glad to have you, as always. I mean,
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, indeed. How are you, brother?
I am doing great. And speaking of snow, I'll be ready to head out to Detroit.
Right.
I know. We were so happy for you.
So I sweater weather.
Yes. You just get prepared to get there early, right?
You're already ready.
Every sweater that I have is going with me.
Okay.
Are you bringing it back, Cool G?
Yeah. The Cosby era.
Yes. Homage to Cosby.
Oh, I know that's right. So tell us real quick about the so that everybody in the Michigan area, okay, that can be and support you, as the production that you're doing in Michigan.
Yes, I'm going to be again, for those who might have missed it, be doing a production of Blues in the Night. It's going to be in Rochester, Michigan.
Right. Yeah. And that's not too far from Detroit. I mean, Rochester
is about 40 minutes outside of Detroit.
Exactly. That is so good.
Thank you.
What character are you playing?
I am playing. Well, we don't really have names per se, but I'm playing the man.
The man.
There's only 4 people in the show, so there's the girl, the lady, the woman, and the man.
Wow. So a small cast, pretty much.
Very small.
Wow.
Cast. It's the first time I've ever done a show where I'm the only guy in the cast. So
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Man,
how long will you be there?
I'll be there for 7 weeks. So from the 24th through March 13th, I come home.
Wow, that is it going to go on after that, or is it just?
I think it's just a little short, just a short run.
Okay.
A couple of weeks. We have a couple of weeks rehearsal, and then a few weeks of the run of the show.
Okay.
And then I move on to the next project.
Hey, that's all right. I am so proud of you.
Thank
That
you,
is
guys.
so good. Yes. Making it happen.
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. So how are you?
I am good. I am refreshed. We've been getting a lot of rain, and then this cold weather has been great for us.
Right. Okay.
You can't get no better rest is when it's at this point in time. When it's cold like this.
Right.
You stay in, you warm up, you get cozy. It's the best thing ever. But other than that, though, if y'all been really following my channel on YouTube, please tune in to DTWW. I got more content coming out. But other than that, though, I feel so refreshed.
Good.
How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm just I'm so excited about this moment. As being the EP founder of Truth Behind the Truth, the whole 9 years, and as we have evolved, I get so excited. I was on pins and needles for the excitement of today, you know, and then what we're working toward, something we can't tell you guys about yet. We have to got to keep watching about that. But I was just so excited about it because when you see what your heart has and what your heart is, you know, commissioned to do and start to evolve, it just is amazing. I mean, it really is. It really is.
Shirt,
Thank you. Thank you.
Fancy.
Give a little something, something. You know, I knew Harold was coming. I had to match him.
You got your jury on.
I had to match him a little bit, you know, so bringing the flow together.
Yeah, we bring it in
Bringing
the
the
color.
Bring the color. And I love you. I love you. The outfit just looks good on you.
Thank you.
Definitely looks good on you. But you know, but all of that, you know, like I said back to you. So I'm just really excited, guys. I really am, you know, in terms of where we're going. It's just such a great team, and I'm really grateful for all of you guys. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, and how we have found each other. You know, I mean, in this, you know, and found the need and found all of that because we have a lot to say, y'all. I mean, we just really getting started. Y'all catch us every week. Wait till y'all start catching us every day, okay? You know what I'm saying? Every day, you know. But we do. We really have a lot to say. You have 4 wise gentlemen here, you know, that has been empowered in so many different areas of life, you know, and we like the opportunity to bring that to you to make you feel better, make you authentic, help you be authentic. Authentic is what I'm trying to say, okay? Help you be authentic, you know, in the process of that and understanding your truth behind your truth, you know, letting you know that you are enough and what?
It's not my job to make you comfortable with my life.
No, what am I saying? My damn life, okay? As we all say. But anyway, let's dig in a little bit tonight. And again, guys, thank you so much, you know, for tuning in with us. We're gonna get some hot topics going with the fellas tonight. Get you guys.
It's just us.
It's just us.
Just us tonight.
It's just, hey, what better way? You know, it's just us tonight. So, you know, we're gonna talk a little bit, gonna share a little bit, give you some more advice and all that great stuff. So, but let's go ahead and dig in. You know, let's talk about that Stephen A. Smith man.
Oh, Steve.
That man.
Yeah.
That man, that whatever. I mean, you want to consider him and call him or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, my quick point. I think everybody can, you know, share their points from it. You shouldn't compare those 2 women together, like what she did on the Sherry Shepherd show. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw it, but you need to go back and check it out. All right. My first opinion about it is that the interview to me was very uncomfortable for Sherry. You know, the way that she looked, her body language, you know, all of those type of things. It looked like she was like, let me start get the damn interview over with.
Right.
You know, and then he went into the thing of comparing Rihanna and Beyonce, and the way he did it and the way he said it started a firestorm pretty much, you know, on social media. You know, it really did. And he since apologized, yes, he did. And then, of course, his fans, you know, say, well, he apologized for what he said. Well, it's just that he shouldn't have said it that way, you know, I mean, in its context. And I don't think that he realized that he wasn't on Sports Center.
Right.
He should have said it anyway.
Right.
He should have said it anyway. It just he should have just been very congratulatory of Rihanna for getting that spot and coming back from a hiatus. I mean,
Absolutely.
the woman just had a child.
Right.
She's still, you know, and she's getting this career bump now that, you know, and she doesn't really need it. I mean, Rihanna's a billionaire. She's got all this going on with her clothing design and all that. I think it was just like I said in the last episode. I just think, to be honest with you, I don't like when we at least do each other in a way. And what I mean is, and when I said this about Gerard Carmichael at the Golden Globes, some things just need to be left off the table. We as I feel like as the Black community don't need to be dogging each other out because it makes us look second rate, and it doesn't look good for our community to see our influential people or our people of influence do that to each other because we tend to do it to each other every day.
Right.
So I just feel like, you know, it should have been something that he could have just left off the table and said, you know what, I congratulate Rihanna. You know, I can't wait for the performance. You know, good job. Could have just left all that out.
Because if you don't have anything nice to say, come sit
say
by
that.
me.
Okay.
But you know, at the end of the day, I don't think that Beyonce or Rihanna really care what he has to say.
Right.
You know, I don't think they really care about it.
Because as far as things that have been said about them,
Right.
that's a minor thing.
Very minor.
Right. It does not diminish their legacy,
True.
their gifts, their
True.
greatness at all.
True.
That's just his opinion.
Right.
And we all have to deal with people's opinions.
Exactly.
Because you know what
You know
they say
what
about
opinions
You know what they say about opinions, right?
Everybody got an opinion about something.
Right,
And
right.
the thing is, because I've seen some of the comments, people like, well, is it a problem for him to say, you know, who he prefers? Like, no, that's not the problem. Of
Right.
course, people have their favorite artists,
Right.
but you don't have to belittle or demean someone else in favor
in
of
the
the
process
person
of
that
that,
you like.
exactly.
Especially when he mentioned about the women talk hosts. You know, he even mentioned that, Sherry, I think you are the epitome of a woman talk show host compared to your competition. And that is what kind of muddied the waters a little bit, because it just became something of a pit women against women type of situation, which was something that it just really became a little too messy in the moment, because it's so much for us all to eat. What is wrong with a little variety? And I think that's the problem. And on top of that, and somebody else said this, what makes Beyonce the diameter for talent? There's so many talented people out there. Great that she's an icon. We all know that, but come on now, let's just really get off of that. Just a little bit.
I totally agree with you in that aspect of.
I think, and him calling her sweetie in his apology, I'm like, dude, you're not helping yourself.
Right.
I'm just like, you know, and I don't want to word police or anything, but how women have fought against words like sweetheart and sweetie, and it's very like diminishing.
Right.
And I know he didn't mean it that way, but coming from that comment to that's like, just stop talking.
You dig yourself in further than you needed to be.
Save yourself. Heal yourself.
You know, but just, you know, just kind of, you know, to move on from that, you know, it just unfortunate, you know. And then my whole thing is just like this, you know, leave it for Sports Center, like I said about Twitter comment, you know, Sports Center, you get away with that dogmatic, you know, movement because you're talking about football teams,
because you're ranking and
you're ranking and all these other type of things, you know, the process of that. So it's a good way to leave it there, leave it on Sports Center, then whatever else you're doing with your life, go for it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, guys, hey, we are just thrilled tonight. You know, we're gonna get into some more things tonight. We got some deep stuff to talk about. I think when we come back from break, we're gonna deal with these those 5 police officers. You know, that horrendous behavior that happened. You know, and that's so when we come back from break, we're gonna pick up with that and kind of dig on what our opinions on that, you know, and how that is making the representation to the African American community. All right, guys, we'll see you right back here on The Truth Behind the Truth.
Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
All right, guys, and thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth, live with the fellas.
Yeah.
Live and in color.
Live and in color. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I mean, again, as we start off the show, I'm excited. I'm thrilled to have my brother here. You know, and we love that chemistry. We love being together. It's just some synergy that we have. You know, that's what makes us great. You know, definitely. Want to remind you about excuse me, about all of our social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Okay, and then soon to be
TikTok.
what is that other one? TikTok? Somebody's talk. We working on TikTok too. Okay? The nice chat, spice chat, you know, hip chat, you know.
I'm not chatting on nothing else. If I don't have it by now, I'm not gonna.
You ain't gonna chat no more, right? Limited the chat at that point, but we do appreciate you following us, and please definitely share, like, get it out there because we need to grow. But you're doing it, and thank you
No,
again.
we don't need to. We are growing.
We are. Now, thank you. We are growing. So as you keep sharing, we're gonna keep growing. But so we're gonna go ahead and dig in and get a little bit more. That's what's live happening, guys. You know, when you're live in the street, live things happen. So it's okay. But anyway, we're gonna dig in, as I mentioned earlier, that we're gonna talk about these detrimental situation with these cops, you know, these 5 cops in Memphis, Tennessee. You know, of course, the big controversial thing comes up is that they were men of color. You know, I mean that these cops were, and they beat this guy to death. You know, they said it's more similar to the Rodney King, you know, beating, you know, here in LA. It was just very similar to it, and they haven't fully brought out the video, the body camera video, as to see how it all evolved. But in the process, and the pictures they showed, like, this guy was, no pun intended, but just very thin. And you got these big, robust, you know, police officers. You know, I'm wondering what this guy could have said, you know, or did to unleash this type of nothing.
Right.
You know, I think, you know, I'm trying to pave a way for, you know, for an understanding here, but you know, there's not really one.
No. Don't give them that.
Not understanding their behavior. No. You know what I mean? Not understanding their behavior, but trying to pave a way to open a conversation about it, you know, and just kind of, you know, to analyze it a little bit of what we do here, you know. But it's just horrendous, you know.
It's so infuriating when you think of folks who are hired to serve and protect.
Thank you. Yes.
Becoming, you know, perpetrators.
Right.
You know, it just and when you see we've used to seeing this, you know, with white folks, white police officers doing it to black, but now we're seeing, you know, black officers doing it to us. It's just really infuriating.
It is. I mean, and to your point, I know you had a point. It is infuriating, you know, because and as a culture of people, and how much we've had marches, we've had, you know, everything else to involve against police brutality, and then how do you stand in solidarity when you have got this type of behavior coming out of your community? How do you do that?
And it's scary because when you think about it, we're used to being afraid of white officers.
Exactly.
Now we got to be afraid of black officers.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, because this is a pure reason to be able to do that. It hurts.
Right.
You know, it really does.
It does. You know, and it's a thing that it's like, because there have been instances before where there have been black or brown or Asian officers involved in this stuff. Like, well, it's not just, it's like, it's not about the color of the officer, it's about the behavior.
That's true. Absolutely.
And, you know, they always say a lot of times the only color they see is blue.
Right.
The blue of the uniform.
Right.
It's us against them.
Right.
I'm like, but it's not supposed to be us against them. You
Right.
are supposed to be part of us, protecting us and keeping us safe when something happens.
Right.
We shouldn't be afraid. Like a brother here in LA, I forget his name right now. That's the cousin of Patricia. The English. I think it's Keenan. Sorry, I forget your name, brother. But what happened was horrible. That that they tased this brother. He had been in an accident.
Right.
They tased him.
Yes.
I think one of us tased him for 30 seconds. 30 seconds of tasing this man. That shit hurts.
Right.
Just a few seconds.
Right.
And, you know, and to lean on somebody, like, you're gonna put your body weight on, but then tell them to turn over.
Right.
Like, how can I turn over when you're leaning on me like this?
Right. Exactly.
And you ain't no little. Okay, let me stop. But it's got to stop.
Right.
It has to stop. And I know that it's a double-edged sword, because part of me, I understand a lot of people who are very radical, like, well, we need to start shooting back and we need to start doing that. Part of me is like, yeah. But then the other part of me is like, that's just what they're waiting for. They're waiting for an opportunity to come against this. I remember a while ago there was a white dude on Instagram. It was like, you know why they're so afraid of you? Because if these things were being done to them, they would have been burned this country down.
Right.
So they're so afraid that
January
today
2nd.
is, today is the day that Black people are going to have enough and actually burn this country down. But yet we keep going like, I don't want to do that. What I want you to do is just leave us the hell alone to go on about our lives. You don't like me as a Black man, fine. I don't care. Leave me alone. Go on about your business, because I'm not coming over to you and messing with you. Why are you so busy coming in? Well, what you doing over here? Minding my business. You should try it.
Right.
But you know what's so funny? I work in an industry where self-control is so key to making sure that everything is calmed down. What they call it, bringing down the situation when it gets very hostile and gets crazy, because you could be a liability to yourself and a liability to that business and a liability to the customers. And it's so sad that you talk about the police officers who don't have no self-control, but have the gun, they have the batons, they have the tasers, but you can stand behind a counter and try to calm somebody, but they can't calm themselves down in situations where they have the protection. And it makes it's so sad. It makes no sense where these 4 officers, because, and I'm going to say this, and it's so true. It's a culture. Blue Lives Matter does not pertain to only white police officers. It pertains to also, it's a culture within a culture. But it's really sad when you tell average Americans who work customer service jobs, restaurant jobs, retail jobs, hotel jobs. These people tell you in order to bring down the hostile situation is to negotiate and to calm down the person, but you have a gun and a baton and a taser, and you still cannot do what these people in situations like this without it can do. I find it just really ridiculous.
That's good.
And I think, it boils down to the judicial system that we still as Americans need to understand that if you keep voting these people in, because it's all based on voting, but being aware of what's going on, you need to understand that we still hold the cards. We hold the
so
cards.
True. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, at the end of the day, they are public servants.
They
are
Absolutely.
public servants.
Absolutely. You said, and we'll move on after, but as you said, I don't understand where we are as people, and I'm speaking of humanity in general right now, with this voting that we don't get. Or not believing in that, and because we want to make this big explosion when it comes on a national level, meaning that the senators, and all that in that involve president, what have you. But the voting and the issue that we're talking about, is on the local level. It's about the judges that you have in place. It's about all of these people that back this bad behavior of these police officers, that are around. So why not remove these people from office? Why are you scared to go down and vote them out? I don't get that part. You get involved in everything else that you shouldn't be getting involved in. Okay, but you let this just get swept up under the rug all the time. Now, no direct pun intended, but you had people standing out in front of the courthouse months ago dealing with Britney Spears. Now, like you, Britney Spears, but all of that crap was a whole bunch of social media and a waste of time. So you have people taking off work. Okay, stand out, free Britney, okay. Britney didn't give a damn about none of y'all that was out there. I'm just gonna say, I said it on the show anyway back then when we were talking about it. This is the truth behind the truth. Okay, just want to remind you of that. But Britney did not, and I like Britney. Okay, hey, Britney, you watch the show, I like it, but hey, you could have supported your people. Okay, you could have showed up. You could have waited through in a limousine or whatever, thanking them about what they did for you, but you ain't show up. You show up on social media a month later, like, oh, I thank y'all. Anyway, we got to get ready to move on. Okay. You had one point that you needed to bring up.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Step out the car, I appreciate you.
Go ahead, Harold.
No, I was just going to mention that January is National Glaucoma Awareness Month.
Wow. Okay.
And both my mom and grandfather had glaucoma. So I just wanted to encourage folks. You haven't gotten your eyes checked lately, get your eyes checked.
Okay.
Because that's something that's very preventable.
Great.
And there are herbal treatments for glaucoma.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Oh,
tell me more. Tell me more.
It's a married to one type of situation. I'm married to one.
I'm married to one.
I'm married to one.
Speaking of that, I haven't been to California, in a few months.
Right.
And it's still, I have still such a difficult time processing walking down the street, people just smoking joints, because I'm old. And so, that was so, it's
So
illegal.
taboo.
Yeah.
I
And so
still
just to
look
see
around like,
people.
Y'all want to get?
Right.
I don't smoke.
Right, okay.
But I'm around people who do it. And
Right.
it's like, y'all just gonna be smoking on the corner like this?
Right. It is the oddest thing in the world, but I think the problem I have with it is that I treat it as driving and being drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I don't think you should be driving around, embracing your marijuana habits. At the end of that, being high.
You can go home and get as high as you want to.
Absolutely. Just stay in your house. You can smell up your house, at the end of the day, Remind me of that. I know we got 1 minute. But remind me of that movie where the Jamaican guys drove up and they opened the door and the smoke came out. I think that one that Predator, what was it? Danny Glover's movie was, I think it was Predator or something that they got out the car.
Cheech and Chong.
Right, exactly.
Going
on, But anyway, we got to go to a quick break, guys, and we will be back in just a minute with more hot stuff. Talking, not smoking, but
James
right here on The Truth Behind the Truth. We'll be right back. And we're back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this wonderful live night on The Truth Behind the Truth. Hope that we have already started to inspire you definitely to go in those communities and vote them people out. Okay, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Vote them out, all right, to get this change happening. But we're going to move on. We're going to dig in a little bit more.
Okay.
So, what was your point? I'm sorry.
Oh, I got lots of points.
Okay. I had a brain freeze right there. Go ahead.
Well, the one thing, okay, I'm gonna keep it light before we get into the heavy stuff. Is Prince Harry's book Spare?
Yes, yeah, that's your favorite point too.
Yes, that has just been really like flying off the books. So everybody's trying to get it. It's a number.
I heard a movie going to be made. I heard allegedly there's a movie to be made, but it's not. But you know what? Like I say, it's worth reading. I mean, to be honest, I heard it's worth reading. I just still have to get the book.
And the title of the book is called Spare.
Spare.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got an heir and a spare.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting, I think I said it before that, he's been in the press talking about, look, I've tried to talk to my family for 6 years privately to handle these matters and not getting anywhere with it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just write a book and tell it all. It's very that rebellious spirit of his mother who's just like, this needs to change.
Well, do you think it's really rebellious, or do you just think that I think because the conversations, they're not being heard?
I think definitely a little bit of both. Kind of like when you have an institution that is steeped in tradition, like the monarchy is,
right,
and you got somebody's like, but that was years ago. This is not 1600, 1700,
right,
1800. This is 2020,
exactly,
2, 3, 4, whatever.
Right.
We've got to progress, and we can't stay in that same space
True.
anymore.
True.
And and the fact that he's dealing with protecting his wife, who is being blamed for everything. The price of tea goes up.
Right.
It's Megan's fault.
Right.
She doesn't even go here.
Right.
Do they still get financial support?
No,
not
So
really.
they-
A little bit, but not like they were when they were.
Susan Gill says, "Spare me." That's how I see that.
Okay.
But what's so funny? I know people in America do not follow. They have not followed this story closely because we don't follow too much of anything that's outside of our, world or whatever that we got going on. But from what I have seen since they've been married, it has been sort of like a throw stones at Megan's situation. I remember one time they had a situation where there have been many situations where protocol has always been called out on her. Why she's walking too fast? Why is she? Why are they holding hands? Why is she? Patting his back. So much has been going off that it was bound to happen for them to have to leave because too much was thrown at them at that point. And I want to give Harry kudos because it's not easy to walk away from a fishbowl that you have been born into.
Right.
It's a birthright. And the saddest thing about the situation is that he has to, like we all have to walk away from family to get some form of foundation of understanding because Megan has had to walk away from her dad. That was a bad situation before they got married. Now he has had to walk away from his family. So I feel like at the end of the day, it was a no-win situation on both of them. And I cannot wait to the fact that one of these days, the truth will have to come out because there's so much dirt underneath the rug with this situation. And I think what's happening with this book, we're learning that there was a one-sided story and a one-sided narrative that is now being uncovered. And people who are really looking into this are really understanding that this couple just didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance.
Did you have a point here? Okay.
No, I was just going to say that the royal family is just like every other family.
I was getting ready to say that.
We all got conflicts. We don't like each other.
Right.
They're just like any other family. They just got money.
Exactly. Well, exactly.
Entitles.
Right.
I wanted to piggyback on what you were just saying about the fact of when you have made the decision on your spouse, whoever that necessarily may be, you have to sometimes walk away from your family. You have to make a stand against them because if they're not supporting, they're going to be against. And in their world, stay against it. But this is and number one thing is that it becomes about you and your partner, you and the person you're in love with, not about your family, not about what they agreed upon and everything else. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be about you two making it.
What does the Bible say about that? The Bible says cleave or something like cleave. I'm gonna mess up a Bible scripture.
We got to be careful about bringing the Bible in because how some people lie about that Bible. They leave it exactly because they don't want to admit that two men can be married. So we have to be careful because they.
Go ahead and cleave. Go on and cleave. Is that what they say? Go ahead and cleave
to who you supposed to cleave
right,
to.
Cleave to who you want to cleave to.
Perspective, though, I think it was best for them because you notice that a lot of other people in that family's images had to be rehabilitated. For example, Camilla, his stepmother.
Oh God!
With the situation of
Camilla Gorilla. I'm sorry.
Camilla, he made a point in the book because I saw this as an excerpt. He said, in order for her image to be rehabilitated, everybody else had to be thrown underneath the rug. And I said to myself, that makes so much sense because of the situation that happened between Diana, Prince Harry, King Charles, and Camilla. Because of the fact that she had to step into her role, there was a rehabilitation in character because she did break up a marriage and break up a family. I think, honestly, that brought into perspective the situation that they were the targets of a situation where, we're going to have to throw stones at them so this person could look good, or that person could look good. So we're going to make y'all the scapegoats. So, I think, honestly, it was the best decision to leave and go away.
But to both of you guys' point, which is very, intertwining that, it's amazing. Even if you just take it off them, for instance, you look at pop culture that is experienced right here in America. From your hip hop artists, from how we started out the show, from how Rihanna made her decision, who she decided to connect with to make her family with, who Beyonce married in terms of Jay-Z, and how the controversy was so about their marriage. Prior to that, he's too old for her, and why is he looking at and all those other type of things. And, then they grow together, become one of the, richest couples in the industry, for different reasons, that they have. So, it's funny that the royal side, if you want to give them that part, has taken such a spotlight. But as you said earlier, it's about the individual family at the end of the day. It's about bringing it home. One point I want to take a quick one to thank our viewers and Susan and Twana and everybody that I haven't mentioned. We definitely want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate your support and everything. We got you. We just can't see you. Okay. But it's all good. But so like I said, guys, so it really is the point to really think about it. And as groups or individual families that you are out there, think about what we have a future shows coming in. We're going to talk about generational curses and things like that. This is a way of setting a generational curse. You know what I'm saying? Because of the behaviors that you speak over people's lives and the things that you don't like and all, and people start forming their lives around that, which is so unfair, at the end of the day. So, let's one thing, let's love on each other, let's find the truth behind the truth, in it, and celebrate those things, celebrate how people can be authentic, and what they do, like they know that they are enough, and what?
It's my job to make you comfortable with my life.
Right.
This is all the other part of that is that I think Meghan really found out exactly how Black she is.
Yes, okay.
Because I was watching the documentary. She was like, she felt she had never been really treated like a Black woman until she and Harry started dating. People like now, like yes. So this is like an attack on a Black woman,
right?
Because it's like, girl, they ain't looking at your daddy when they look at you. They see Black woman, which is why they tried to make her come from Compton, and all this good stuff, and just blaming her on everything, trying to, that's why we have to protect Black women at all costs.
That's true.
Get that? Well, that's true. And I hope to the point, as we get ready to go to break, that we start as a country and as a people just to stop looking at this. You know what I'm saying? I heard one person say some time ago that there was a reason why this happened this way. You see what I'm saying? It's not just this and this, but there was a reason why it happened. And the person that said that said that fortunately that the people that carry this have the ability to accept this more than this has the ability to accept that. We'll be right back from a break. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You can tell we are having fun tonight on The Truth Behind the Truth. And we appreciate you guys. Hey, just being a part of what we got. We had a mic out. We had all this stuff going on. So, hey, you didn't hear him quite earlier, but you're going to hear him now. Okay, can you say something?
Hello?
Okay. Okay.
Hello?
All right, we're working.
So we're working. Hey, that's part of the live TV. We love it. But anyway, so we're going to dig in a little bit more. Okay, George Santos.
Oh,
Okay,
George.
right,
I forget
yes.
his drag queen name.
Oh, God.
I heard.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Wow.
See.
It's like it never stops with this guy. There's always something else going on.
Right.
And it's one of those things of like, when you start pursuing a public life, you have to think about, okay, what did I do? What can I do?
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I'm like, I will probably never run for public office because I know the nude pictures will come out.
And we're waiting on that to come out next. Oh my gosh. Oh,
right, exactly.
As Melania.
No.
It's not gonna happen, but here it comes and people use it against
Right.
you. And it's like nothing against him having done drag. Wonderful drag queens
Right.
have been at the forefront of the gay rights movement.
Right.
But it's the lies. The lies.
The lies.
Well,
Well,
my thing is,
but,
why did not none of the 9/11 families have came out against him? Because I thought it was a big insult to those who had really died, and in the Twin Towers, about the fact that he included his mother
Yeah.
in that situation, which originally the lie was that she was there,
Mm-hmm.
but in truth, she was back in their home country of he's from Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil,
Okay.
South America.
Uh-huh.
Well,
South
one of
America.
oh my goodness,
Uh-huh.
but she was there and she had passed before she could come over here within the States. I thought, my goodness, what such a insult to those people who actually had passed in those towers for you to put your mother who wasn't there at all. That's an insult.
So he made up a whole lie.
He
that
made
his
up a
mom-
whole lie about the death of his mother and then that was like, wow, nobody's not gonna come and like really put this man in his place about that. That was really an insult.
Well, first of all, since he's surfaced, from wherever the dust, the dirt that he came from, at the end of the day, I don't understand why he has gotten this all appeal, from the Republican Party that he is. I mean, what is this inroad that this man knows that the rest of the world doesn't know?
It's all about the vote.
Well, yeah, true.
all about
But the thing is that then he's a replica of that idiot that was in the White House. Of course, we sat back and he told 24,000 lies. At the time of 4 years. So I guess what happens is the long and short is that we're used to the lies. So therefore, him telling these lies is not shocking. As it would be, at any point. That's just basically I can sum it up with him, because if we go on, it just gets worse and worse. At the end of this type of person. But let's go on to the governor of
Ron
Florida.
DeSantis. Lord have mercy.
all this politics, all this lies, and all this scandal and politics.
Yes.
All of this stuff is, when it comes to what all comes around to it is really about the battle against white supremacy.
Yes.
Because for those who don't know, recently Ron DeSantis, who is the governor of Florida, has made it, had an AP African American Studies class deemed or banned basically for saying, well, it doesn't offer any real educational value or it's not historically accurate. And I'm like, what is real is you don't want folks to know what happened in this country. And again, it's not about making the white people of today feel guilty for stuff that happened in the past. Now, for what's happening now, you bear responsibility.
Right.
But
And that's the truth behind it.
that's
That's
right. But it is the fact that when you don't look at what you're benefiting from or what role you may play in enabling this system, yes, you're responsible for. But the facts of things that happened in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, et cetera, of course, people living in the 21st century aren't responsible for that.
Right.
However, they need to know about it.
Exactly.
Which is why we had people who thought the fiction, they're just making black people to be evil, and then they had to eat crow, and they're like, no, bitch, that happened.
But you know what? Even within one of your founding fathers' home, you talk about Thomas Jefferson home Monticello, how they turned Sally Hemings' room into a restroom to cover up that story for many, many years. See, that's I mean, the fact that it was a situation where her room was covered up. What they did are the people who went in and saw the original blueprint of that home, realized that there was a room there, and gutted out the wall and saw that was covered. See, this is why
was it covered up?
Well, because there was because of the situation at hand, the man fathered Sally Hemings' children, Thomas Jefferson. And you know the story that, she was the half sister of his wife, Martha Jefferson. And the saddest thing about that situation, the family of the Jefferson family for many years covered up that story, so nobody would have never known about him fathering Black children. But because of that situation, they covered up evidence of how close proximity her room was to Jefferson's room.
Wow.
For that to ever had happened.
So you can sneak in there.
But that is why you need AP African American Studies.
Right.
Because of so many stories that were covered up over the years of land that was covered up by lakes, land that was stolen because of property that, our Caucasian brothers and sisters wanted. So people, Rosewood, Tulsa, all of those communities were, were flooded over. Oscarville, yes. So you have to think about, why is it important for people to understand, like you say, why they have the things that they have. But if you're going to cover it up, then you're guilty.
Right.
And that's what's wrong. People are showing their guilt because you want to cover up that history, and that's not right. I think
number one, they don't want to face the truth behind the truth.
That's the truth behind the truth.
At the end of the day, about the whole situation and what has been done there. So my quick one, I know you were going to chime in. I just want to throw it out there. So with Ron DeSantis, what nationality are you?
Ooh, he's Italian.
Okay, is it Italian with DeSantis? Is that one of our Cuban or
some kind of Latin thing?
Okay, so what I'm saying is that you're not white, okay, and you need to be really looking at what you're framing, for yourself and for your own children, okay, and to put out this type of legislation is just completely horrendous. They even did it in California. So let me get off him just for a second. Yeah. The school district here in California did the same thing. They had to vote against to bringing that in, like wanting to teach the children. Now we were going to talk about that last week's show. And I don't understand where this battle is. I don't understand, why do you feel like it's so important to keep truth from people?
Because it makes me feel bad. It should.
It should. No, it makes me feel accountable.
Right,
okay. At the end of the day, it makes me feel responsible, and it should make you, not you indirect now, because those of you that have a different frame of idea, then we're not talking to you. Okay, but we're talking to ones that don't have that right frame, and their own that white frame of mind, and wants to, prevent the proper knowledge of what happened in America to you, because it's the same way with our indigenous, community, because so much about the indigenous community has been swept over. Nobody wants to talk about how they were massacred, okay, by the Pilgrims, okay, the ones we celebrated with, but that's another story.
But there is a culture in Miami because of the situation with Fidel Castro. When he took power in Cuba, there was a situation where the natives, the indigenous Cubans who were of African descent, took over those lands, and you had the European Cubans who left that country and came over to Florida. There has always been, and you think about the open door policy in the 1940s, when you had people like Carmen Miranda who came over here and performed, and she was of European, she was accepted because of her European looks. But even though most of those South Americans, Brazilians, Colombians, you have a lot of Black people over there, but they were disregarded as the lowest of the lowest. So when you think about, why do people in places like Florida who will vote Republican and they of Cuban descent, there's a reason for everything. There is a reason why there is a patriarchy when it comes down to colorism. The lighter you are, the better you are. The darker you are, the worse it is. So a lot of those Cubans who are in Miami, who voted for Ron DeSantis, are a product of that community that ran from Fidel Castro.
And a lot of them were granted white status when they came.
Yes.
Even though they clearly were not white. But it's like going, but I'm a claim white, which a lot of times, so the inflated numbers for the white population of America, I think, are often distorted, because you got these people who are not Caucasian claiming white status because they can pass as white, or they look white enough. And it was like only the darkest of the Cubans coming over here were denied.
It's like with Lena Horne's story. You know, when Lena Horne was went into Hollywood, they told her it's better to be Spanish than to be black. So she started off in what Panama had. If you would know her introduction to the film, she started off as a Spanish singer. But then she said, I'm not Spanish, I'm black. So no, I'm not going that route. And because of it, she was denied, movies. But like you say, it is what it is. It is the truth behind the truth. It's better to be white than to go black in those situations of being from another country. It's better to be ambiguous. And that's where the Meghan Markle story comes into play too, because for years she was ambiguous. Nobody knew she was black until she went to the UK and they found it out. It took that black mother to come over there with them locks. Like, I ain't never seen no black. That ain't white enough for me. But it is what it is, of exotic blood.
But this country is built on so many false narratives.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we believe that because something is in a book that it's true.
Right.
And so much of what's written in our history books isn't even the truth.
Right.
Yes.
See, I wasn't going to. She's gonna bring up that slave Bible. See, I wasn't gonna go there tonight. But when we come back from a break, I'm gonna go back because I think we didn't finish talking about that last week. I think that's that particular point. I know we ain't ready for a break yet, but I'm just gonna say I'm gonna hold that until we come back from a break. Because it's too much to be able to get into. For that, just kind of elaborate on that. But I'm simply going to drop.
And then I was going to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about the recent tech layoffs. Google laid off, I think, 12,000, Microsoft 10,000, Amazon laid off a whole bunch of people. And I saw a young lady who worked at Google on TikTok, and she was talking about her experience, how she went to log on, and I mean that's how they do layoffs. I mean it's not a very caring process.
Right, exactly.
That's why when companies tell you got to give 4 weeks or 2 week notice, it's like, no, if you got another job, just look, I'm just going. Because when they get ready to get rid of you, guess what? You go.
No 2 week notice when they fire you.
Right. And then though, I was reading some of the Google employees. Now this is where I kind of didn't have a lot of empathy. Because some of the Google employees, they said, were making like $1 million a year. So, I mean, if you're making I don't have that, much empathy. If you're making $1 million and you got laid off, I mean, I really don't.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You'll be okay. You're going to be all right.
But it goes back to also Twitter, too. Y'all know, it's just so funny how this thing works when it boils down to big companies like that. You got this great resume, but to get laid off from something like that, it's just, it will blow your mind. But then on top of that, other things are sprouting. Entrepreneurship is so big right now.
Which it
should be, because a lot of people are walking away from these jobs probably happier than they have ever been in their whole entire life. And especially when we talk about mental wellness, we're working all of the time. So, it's probably good that this is happening, because at the end of the day, you don't know what this has happened, blessed you with.
Exactly.
Peace of mind, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that you mentioned about the different people in the corporation. They had built this. Somebody on Twitter was talking about Elon Musk and his loss of all of the financial gains that he has. The one thing that was funny, they said he was a billionaire or multi-billionaire at one point. He was supposed to be the richest man in the world at one point, and how in a few minutes he fell from being the richest man in the world to a local class person now. And they were saying that I wonder how he feels at this particular point, because all of the money that he typically lost. But one thing about money here, real quick, is that nobody is actually as wealthy as they think that they are. Okay, at the end of the day, because it's all based upon numbers. It's all based upon a computer saying what it is. The only money that you have is the natural resources. So if you cannot go and pull a gold bar out of your account or out of your safe or out of your vault in your bank, you ain't got no money. Okay, if you don't have land, you don't have any money. If you don't have silver, you don't have any money. So this is why you can go from being a billionaire one day to a thousandaire the next hour. Okay, because it goes, and you can ask Kanye and all the rest of them, because it's not built on the fact of a tangible means. You can never walk into a bank and say, you know what, give me my $1 billion.
That's why real estate
they'll
is
look
so
at you like, they'll look at you like,
real
what?
estate is so important.
Yeah, exactly. And you said it very much. That's why real estate is so very important.
Yeah.
So, America, those of you that are watching, please understand that what you appear to have in the bank, you really don't have. unless you have natural resources.
Unless
okay?
you bank with Bank America.
Oh,
Bank of America.
Oh, boy.
But I'm telling you, when I heard the newscast that folks' money was missing, I was going to my Bank of America account every 10 minutes. Like, wait a minute,
know, right?
If I see a slight decrease,
For those who only had $5 in their account, they got a negative in their account. I'm just saying, watch the Bank America, because but it goes to show you, you don't have no type of natural resource or no type of land.
Right.
And I think that's why it's now so important, because there is a movement that's happening right now where people are now trying to own land and get involved in that type of scenario of business, because it's just one of those things that will guarantee you wealth, long, what they call it, generational wealth. Yes.
It's interesting how somebody, I remember, I can't remember who it was, but the whole concept of wealth and value is just really like, who says these things are worth?
right?
Exactly.
Just because something's shiny, like, even using gold as the measure, like, well, somebody had to assign gold this kind of wealth. It really has no value other than people wanting it and putting a price on it. So money, yes, it's wonderful to have, and I'll take $1 million or two, or 20. But when it all comes down to it, it's like, this is really not significant. It's just what we have attributed to it, and it's better to have it than not. So when you think about it that way, you watch these people who have millions and millions of dollars or billions of dollars, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not the kind of person, I don't need to be the richest person in the world. I just need to be able to have more than enough money to just close to him. I just like to have more than enough money to do what I want, when I want, for as long as I want to do it, and be able to, that my family is taken care of, and be able to benefit other people. I couldn't be the person that's like, I have $150 billion in the bank and watch people starve. Watch people be homeless. It's like there's a way to it. Just, we've got more than enough money to address the homelessness and the hunger problems in the world. We've got just a few people who are holding on to it.
Absolutely. I totally agree. To your point, I think one of the things that we have to remember, as America, is that how everything was built on trade. You know what I'm saying? So, you may have had an apple tree that had 500 apples on it, and I had, different amount, or I wanted to share the pears with you or whatever. So it was all built on trade, at the end of the day. And that's how you acquired wealth. You had cattle and land, cattle and all this stuff. It's how it wasn't built on the tangible dollar. And that's a whole other story about the tangible dollar, which we don't have time to talk about tonight, which the deceased queen had more control than we think. But I'll say that for another show. I think we talked about that on the show.
We
before.
did,
You go back and do the research on that. We did talk about that on the show. How the queen owned your ass, but
well, she
really did. But we want to thank you guys. Just such a great night. Tonight I have been so inspired once again. And I thank you guys, and hopefully that you were with us being together, and keep pushing, keep sending, because we want this every day. The four of us here in front of you every day, bringing you great topics, bringing you great things, bringing you great lists, opportunities to grow, bringing you great ways to find your truth behind your truth, because it's an ever-evolving process. Every day you find some truth behind another level of truth.
Is it over? We finished?
Keep pushing.
Okay.
Wow.
It's been fun. It's always been, but hey, we got more coming, y'all. We definitely have more coming. But again, thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It has been a joy. We'll see you next week on The Truth Behind the Truth. Good night, guys.